What you're seeing right now is a test animation for a cancelled animated anthology series based on Marvel Comics, which was actually being worked on by Powerhouse Studios, the same animation studio that developed the absolutely fantastic Castlevania animated show for Netflix. It was revealed on Twitter by Brad Graber, co-founder of Powerhouse Studios, who worked on the project while it was being developed, and he explained that they were working on the concept around 2012 and 2013. The general idea was to celebrate the upcoming 75th anniversary of Marvel in 2014 by releasing a series of animated shorts set in different decades and time periods of Marvel's long history. The series would have been called Marvel Era, and the different shorts would have taken thematic and visual inspiration from the decades that they were set in. There were around 14 rough concepts for short ideas, such as a short set in the 1940s with Captain America fighting in D-Day, with an animation style inspired by the style of cartoons made by Fleischer Studios from that time. There was also going to be a Namor story with a U-boat, a story set in the Korean War with Wolverine, a story set in the 60s with the X-Men fighting against a mutant cult leader, a 70s cinema-inspired short featuring the Heroes for Hire, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, an 80s style short inspired by Miami Vice and Scarface, which would have focused on the Punisher, a Deadpool short which would have been a parody of cheesy 90s cartoons, and also a story set in the 2000s with Captain Marvel fighting in the Middle East. The animated proof of concept for the series, which was shared on Twitter, looked fantastic in my opinion. Each brief showing of the different concepts looked pretty visually distinct from one another, and each art style was executed beautifully. Honestly, I would much prefer an anthology series where each episode has a distinct animation style, rather than sharing the same unified art style like in the Disney Plus show What If, for example. I just find it to be pretty fitting for an anthology show based on comic books to have a different visual style for each episode, since it would faithfully mimic how comic books always have a multitude of varied art styles due to each comic book artist always having his own personal style. Ultimately though, Brad Graber explained that Marvel Era never materialized due to a combination of studio politics, Powerhouse being a fairly young studio at the time, and the Disney and Marvel merger was also still pretty fresh. So things were just too complicated for the project to be greenlit, and in the end, it might have been for the best, since Powerhouse Studios went on to make two great shows, Seis Manos and the Castlevania series for Netflix, which you should seriously check out if you haven't seen them before, or watch them again if you already have, or binge watch all of Castlevania for the 5th time like me.